Hello everybody, I'm Heath here at the Raw Kitchen, and today we've got Justin, one of our teachers, our yoga teachers here, and he does Yin Yoga. Hey Justin, how are you?
I'm great, Heath. How are you?
Good, man.
Yeah.
So while we've got you here, what is Yin Yoga?
Yin Yoga is a beautiful practice. It is a more opening and extended practice of yoga that counters the yang. So instead of being active and having the muscles be active, the muscles are actually released and opened. And we sit in the poses for longer periods of time, which allows the tendons and the muscles to relax and open, which ends up clearing toxins, increasing flexibility, and ultimately clearing the clutter in the mind and allowing the mind to open and breathe.
So are the classes, would you say they're more relaxing, or are they still quite dynamic and hard, or how are they?
They're very challenging mentally. They are dynamic in the sense that the poses evolve slowly over time, so it's simultaneously relaxing, opening, and challenging. So people with a cluttered mind might find it more challenging. People with stiff muscles or a lot of tension stored in their muscles might find it challenging, but it's beautiful because over time those muscles release, the mind will release, and going through that pain threshold ends up resulting in a beautiful extension of the body and the mind. So it is mentally challenging and it is physically challenging, but not in an intense way, more in a can you sit still for 5 minutes in a difficult pose sort of way.
And it would be fair to say that, like, because with the Yin Yoga, you're transitioning people out of the mind into the body, and then when they can feel their body, the Yin Yoga begins, isn't it? It's really a non-mental thing. And if we were to suggest that, like, a lot of the blocks in energy are mental, because when you like to say you access the pain, that's a block. We're losing most of our energy because of a thought process that we're not even conscious of. Is that?
That's exactly correct. So when we have a block in the body, it's actually a block in the mind, because if we're able to breathe into that sensation, which is the art of Yin Yoga, breathing into the sensation, being present with that sensation, what ends up happening is we realize it's all in our mind. We realize that our mind is what's holding on, and the muscle will release. You know, when you're clenching a muscle, the muscle isn't clenching, your mind is clenching it. So you can mentally unclench your muscle. You can mentally go through your body and ask yourself, am I holding on? Am I letting go? And the art of Yin Yoga is a wonderful connector of the mind and the body, realizing the body is but an extension of the mind.
So profound. So you would have many a profound experience for people, or witness that, I should imagine, in your classes, when you see someone actually realize that, oh my God, it's me, I'm holding on to something I didn't even know I was, and they simply let go. That's Yin Yoga, is let go to the flow, right?
Let go to the flow, and it's amazing. It's exactly correct, because to talk about what you just said, I've had many experiences personally and with my students who have talked about things that have boiled up even from years ago that they had no idea they were holding on to. And it's amazing what gets stored in the body, and also what happens when you can move past that. If you can feel those sensations, and you can release those blockages, what ends up happening is this gigantic release of space. And if you sink into a pose and you go through that threshold, what ends up happening, and I experience this every time I'm in a Yin pose now, is I don't want to leave the pose. I just want to sit in the pose and receive that beautiful state of presence, that state of bliss that the universe and the present state of consciousness provides.
Sure.
Yeah.
And looking at recent studies at the moment, they're starting to think that a lot of the interventions on a chemical level, for stress being the #1 destroyer of our health and integrity, is now definitely coming from lifestyle choices and things like that. The nutraceutical approach is okay, it's not doing too much, especially with longevity. Even the pharmaceutical level, not really working, not doing a lot, but simply doing yoga, addressing stress in the mind is now proven to, like, outweigh everything. So this is where Yin Yoga has got to be the best ever.
It is. It's the best ever, and especially because I like the word purification, purity. So all the toxins that we're flooding our bodies with, you know, whether it be from all the radiation, whether it be from a diet or nutritionary-based toxins, or whether it be from environmental toxins or energetic toxins, what ends up happening is we get stored in the body. And what the Yin does is it opens up the muscle tissue, opens up the ligaments, opens up the energy channels, the chi that flows through our body, and allows those toxins to clear. and helps us purify our bodies. So it is the ultimate almost necessity to achieve that balanced approach.
Yeah, and this is important as a lifestyle approach, isn't it? Because the research is clear now coming through, is that it's long-term low-level stress is giving what they call then cortisol resistance. So you can get your cortisol levels tested and they're okay, but in the same way as we get insulin resistance, they're now finding cortisol resistance, and you're not treating it apart from what we call adaptogens and herbs and things like this you'd be aware of. They help, but it has to be lifestyle, which means yoga or exercise is the best. But the way you do the yoga, where it's a complete release and surrender, it's got to be the best for.
Oh, it definitely is. And what it ends up happening is you can apply techniques of Yin Yoga to every second of your life.
Yes.
The awareness, the listening to your body, the breathing techniques, being present in every motion of every second of every muscular movement of your body, in every moment of the day, is pure bliss.
Yeah.
That's what bliss is. And being connected in such a pure way is the ultimate. That's the ultimate achievement.
And so for beginners, say we get beginners coming to your class, they haven't done yoga before, they're going to hold poses longer, it's going to be very soft, very gentle. Doing your class, it was amazingly peaceful and took me out of a stressed out state thinking must, to be in a presence where it's, you hit a timelessness which is profoundly effective on your life. But also you're gonna come up to a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't done yoga before, you're stiff.
Yeah.
This stiffness is talking to you now. It's a mental stiffness.
Exactly.
Preceding this, because like you said, you can't even tense a muscle. You must mentally bring it into force first.
Exactly.
So what are you going to say to these people about, like, okay, you're going to go into a position and you're going to get that resistance now?
Well, then the resistance is welcomed, because it's your body communicating to you that you're holding on, and it's your body communicating to you that you've tightened, and there's possibly some mental clutter happening, and that's fine, that's beautiful, you know. And then I think of it as an ocean massaging a rock, eroding it over time. Perfect. You know, waves of breath, one softly after the other, just massaging over time. And over time, you notice that there's this unfolding of the body and an unfolding of the mind that ends up being a beautiful.
And this is yin, isn't it? And this is why we need the education on what actually is yin. And the more you get into science, and the more you realize everything in the material world is a balance, an interplay between two endpoints, yin and yang becomes the primal paradigm to study, isn't it? What is yin and what is yang? And when you're starting to speak a lot of this language, the metaphors are all yin, and they're important to know, aren't they? In a sense. So like, were you sitting, and can you explain a little bit about yin versus yang?
Well, it's interesting, because when you think about existence, everything exists in duality, but the whole point of duality is that they're one and the same. But there's actually no difference between the two. They're not two separate entities. They're just two elements that compose the entirety of existence. So when you can't have one without the other. So if your focus tends to be sided towards one or the other, that means you're missing half of everything. So it's the flow between one or the other. It's the flow between yang, where you're more active, but then you take the time to integrate that activity, you know, strengthening the muscles, strengthening the body. You take the time with the yin practice to integrate that into the mind. Then what happens is you build muscle, you build strength, and then you integrate it. You build it, you integrate it, and then that's where the growth appears. Because if you just build strength without integrating it, you're going to clutter, you're going to have blockages, you're going to have stiffness. It's not going to produce the results that you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Justin, and we're super excited that you're here with us teaching for us. I'm sure we're going to have lots of these little chit chats.
I hope so.
And we can go to the Justin corner and get the latest update on
Absolutely.
Yin World.
And,
thanks, man.
Sitting on the class also.
Yeah. So come to the classes.
Absolutely.
Great.
Cool. Thank you so much, Heath.